What's up? What's up? This is the ChoppedByT podcast where we get real, raw, authentic conversations. I'm your host, T. And to the right of me, we have Jewel. How are you?
Cheesing so hard right now.
That's because you got me beside you. I'm extra handsome.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. Okay, yeah, now I get it.
That's why, of course. Why wouldn't you? You know, we all smile when we got handsome people in the room. You know what I mean?
Okay.
No, I really do light up people's day. That's a fact.
Okay.
How are you feeling, though?
Me, I cannot pick an emotion right now.
Yeah.
One moment I'm happy, and next I'm like sad or depressed, but then I'm like grateful and I'm happy and I'm working it out.
Yeah.
But I think overall I'm happy.
When you say one moment, like, what is it from? Like,
Moment to moment.
Literally.
So at this point, I'm not doing, everybody's like, take one day at a time. I'm not doing a day at a time. I'm doing moment to moment.
Really?
A day is too much because from recently of what have happened in my life recently, I realized from a moment to the next, it doesn't even take a day.
Yeah.
Like, life could change.
What happened?
We're going to start with that.
Why not?
Oh, my God. That's heavy.
Yeah.
It's really heavy. I was dating this young man.
Young man?
I say young man because, he's older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess because I had recently gone through a divorce. Well, not recent. It was like last year, but I had been separated for a while. And so, are we really starting with this? Okay. And I wasn't looking for anyone.
Right.
I had a dinner at Jonathan's, and I don't think I've ever sat in their bar area. And then my friend was like, okay, let's go sit at the bar. She had a couple of friends coming, so I just, okay, I'll go sit in the bar area. We had a couple of bravazis, and then this person was just like, are you from here? Because I've never seen you here before. And that's how it started. That was April 20th. And so we just, like, really got to know each other. Okay, so I do this thing where I'll fast. I'll do, like, a water fast, and people think I'm crazy. Adrian thinks I'm crazy. Yeah. Like, you'll just fast for, like, a week with just water only. Mm-hmm. Or sometime maybe not even a week, but, like, a couple of days. Mm-hmm. And this particular person was like, yeah, I do a week. I was just like, oh, really, right?
Yeah.
And then I do this thing where I go to Hot Works and I work out in the sauna, and everybody I've carried, including Adrian, is just like, nope, this is not it. It's 130 degrees. There's no way. This is just a lot going on. You're sweating. And he loved it. Yeah. Went and got his own account in the area where he lives. So we just had a lot in common, a lot of health stuff, because my degree's in food science. And so it's like he would be doing these things, and he's just like, he didn't really know the science behind it, and then I would just, like, fill in the gap. But we just had a lot in common, and we hanged out a lot. I'm going to get emotional. As of this Wednesday, that was 4 weeks that he passed away, and I had talked to him the day that he was going back to his hometown, and just planned for dinner for Sunday. Nothing different. And he had a car accident and he passed away.
Yeah.
So I feel like...
Take your time.
I feel like the biggest lesson that I've learned, I feel like I've constantly, for my whole life, I feel like I keep learning the same lesson. I keep on learning the same lesson, which is tomorrow isn't promised.
Yeah.
I keep learning it over and over again. Like, being intentional with the people around you, like taking the time when you're around them to say, this is how I feel about you.
Yeah.
And not holding back and be like, oh, I'll know when I see them again, because you might not see them again.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're just gone.
Yeah.
Like, you have all these memories, and then you'll never be able to pick up the phone and call them. You'll never be able to text them. You'll never be able to say, I love you, or I miss you, or when am I going to see your face? So it's like, it's just been hard.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, it's been, and that's why I said I was taking my life moment to moment, because within the past couple years, it's just been, I don't want to even say couple, because I just feel like it's just been happening my whole life. There are times when I'm just like really grateful, I'm really happy. And then out of nowhere, like something just happens and it shakes my world, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
if I had known.
Have you ever explored like the cause of that? Because I feel the same way as well, right? I feel like it's always something. We just talked about off camera. It's always something with me.
It's always something, and it's like, how do I control the outcome?
Yeah.
Is there a way for me to get ahead of controlling what will happen regardless, but somehow just to figure out how to recognize and be more aware, okay, tomorrow might not be here. What can I do right now? But sometimes you're just living.
Yeah.
And as humans, we mess that part up.
Yeah.
Because we're human, we're just not going to get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Living moment to moment, that has to be exhausting, right?
It's not anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier. If I say, well, I could make plans months and days in advance. But as my days go on, sometimes it's hard to get through the day.
Yeah.
So I might get through this hour, and the next hour I'm just like, I need to go in the bathroom and cry.
Yeah.
So I feel like now that I'm taking it a little, like, smaller steps at a time, it's like I'm giving myself some grace.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be so hard on myself. Like, so hard. Like, I don't know if that's from my childhood or the expectations that I set for myself. But I just haven't been graceful to myself. Like, so now it's like, I'll pat myself. It's like, okay, you're doing good. It's okay. You made it through the last hour or 2 hours. And I work in a school environment. It's an alternative school here in Murfreesboro, and you see different types of kids come through with a lot of trauma and a lot of stuff. And they're like one mistake away from being in jail.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that has also changed my perspective on how I see life now. It's like, they might slept in their car, they might be homeless, and they still have to come and do this program. They might not have eaten or showered.
Yeah.
They still have to show up and be respectful and all these things. And I'm just like, I need to be grateful.
Yeah.
I need to be grateful that my situation could be so much more worse. I mean, and I have been in their shoes. I've been homeless. I know what it is to not have my electricity on. I know what it is to have an eviction notice. I know what it is to get my car repossessed. I know what it is to be stranded on the road with my 2 kids walking in the sleet because I missed the Rover and I didn't have money to get a cab. Like, I feel like I've been through a lot. And it has definitely shaped how I look at life and how I see people.
Yeah. In what way?
I see them more of, like, I'm not looking at them as far as what I expect of them. It's like what they can give. I'm meeting them where they're at. So even if I see a random person on the road, if I have money, I'll give it because I know what it was like to be in that person's shoes.
Right.
So it's like just meeting people where they're at. Like,
Yeah. That's so funny that you said that, right? Because I have a brother on my father's side, right? Yeah. I'm black, so, we all have different dads. Yeah. But I have a brother on my father's side.
First of all, okay.
But no, seriously, I have a brother on my father's side, and a close friend of mine. He told me, he said, with my brother, because we didn't grow up together, right? And I was kind of nervous because I guess we had the same beginnings, right? But since then, I've just put so much on myself to try to elevate myself to just be a better man and a better person, a good friend. But he didn't, though. And that's no fault of his. It's just he took a different path, right?
Right.
And a friend of mine named Quay, close friend of mine, he told me, hey, lose the expectations that you have for your brother. Just meet him where he is so y'all can establish a foundation in a relationship. So it's just funny that you say that right now.
And I've also developed something new.
Yeah.
I feel like we get so caught up in what we would do if we were that person. So we have these expectations of people.
Yeah.
Right? They don't even know we have these expectations
crazy,
in
right?
them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we're getting bent out of shape.
Yep.
That I expected him to do Ray.
Yeah.
How come he ain't? Because if that was me, da-da-da-da. And then they're just like, they don't even know how to even if you told them, I expected this of you, they don't even know what the first step would be to deliver on those expectations.
Yeah.
So I've definitely looked, how do I word this? I've definitely looked at people from a different vantage point, because otherwise you're going to end up with being resentful all year round, all the time, being upset with somebody all the time because you have this expectation of people and they don't even know how to deliver. I'll give you an example. So I grew up in Jamaica. I grew up in Mapen Clarendon, Jamaica. Big up on yourself. I grew up in Jamaica, 20B Fernley Avenue, right downside from Miss Watson shop. I always run up and down barefoot.
Shout out Miss Watson.
Miss Watson died, but
sorry.
But okay.
Still though.
Right? Everybody used to go to Miss Watson shop, go buy 2 Gila Isle or, quarter pound of codfish, some white rice, whatever.
Sound
yeah, we
incredible.
we would run a boat. So it's like as kids, we can't buy the full thing. So we just everybody put together and we buy a little bit.
I'm following.
Right? And but growing up, I didn't grow up with my parents. My parents had migrated to the States when I was about 5 years old. And there was just this longing of wanting to know what that felt like. So very early on, I just knew I was going to be a mom.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be married. I wanted to have kids.
Yeah.
I wanted to do all the things because I didn't have that growing up. At 15 or 14, I was on my own with my little brother.
Yeah.
Like, something happened. Somebody was supposed to come back. And I think my grandma was taking care of us for a long time, and she went to Canada, and something happened with her paperwork. I'm not even sure to this day what happened, but she didn't make it back. My sisters were visiting. They had already migrated and was going to college in Longmeadow, Massachusetts. And so the summer break is done. Nobody's coming back. We're just like, my brother and I are like in the house, and we grew up in a pretty nice house, like 5 bedrooms, bathrooms. Yeah. Now I'm looking back, we were, people consider us to be rich.
Yeah.
We couldn't see that because all I can remember is cleaning the floor. We had to wax the marble tiles, and we had to get up really early and clean it every Saturday morning, and we had to wash a whole bag of clothes by hand. It was a lot. But I say all of that to say we were on our own. Yeah. I mean, we were on our own, just the two of us in the house. And I remember deciding to my little brother, I was just like, okay, 1, we can't let anybody know that we were by ourselves. Yeah. And 2, whatever we do, we're going to have to do well in school.
Yeah. And how old are you at this time?
I'm like 15 or 14. Yeah. I think I'm 15, and he was 11. Yeah. And so it was just like, I think also growing up, my grandma there was a lot of exposure to like how to manage money, how to cook, how to clean, how to manage a house very early.
So you had that foundation.
So like, I wasn't worried about trying to pay the bills. Like my parents would send money through Western Union or MoneyGram, and we pick it up and I, sort it out, budget it out, and we make sure that we have money for school, so forth. But I say all of that to say it wasn't until recently, because I had all these expectations of my parents. And why did they leave? How could they do that? Why? How come they didn't stay? Like, I have my own kids now, and I can't even leave them a day. Like, I'm always, around my kids. And I realized that because I had this expectation of what parenting supposed to look like, I never ever asked myself, did they even know how to be parents?
Yeah. We tend to superhero our parents sometimes. Yeah.
And I had to call my mom and just ask her to forgive me. Like, I did that. Like I'm grown, have my own kids. And it wasn't maybe till 2 years ago I was just like, Mom, I'm sorry. Like, I had all this expectation of you. Like, she
Did it
got
make you
married.
rebel?
Oh, yes. Especially when I just came up from Jamaica and I had to live in Brooklyn. Oh, my God.
Yeah. What a place to go, right? From Jamaica.
From Jamaica in the nice little countryside.
Yeah.
You run up on Dunk Barefoot to Brooklyn, East Flatbush, Vanderveer Projects. You ducking bullets.
Barefoot.
You better not wear the wrong color.
Yeah.
Because you getting jumped. Because you either rolling with the Bloods or the Crips. And I'm like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even care about that. But I had to ask my mom and my dad to forgive me, because I look at how they grew up and I'm just like,
yeah,
y'all was messed up from the jump. Like, y'all didn't have a way to even impart good parenting, And so it's like, when I talk about the expectations, it's like meeting them where they're at.
Yeah.
It has now that I'm doing that, it's like, it's so, I don't know how to put it. It's so light and fluffy. Because I'm not having any expectations of them anymore. And I've tried to tell that to my sisters. Like, I have older siblings and a younger brother. And I'm just like, guys, y'all just need to chill.
Yeah.
Y'all just need to just meet mommy and dad where. And my parents aren't together. So one lives in Georgia and one lives in Connecticut. And I'm just like, guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know how. I think unless they've gotten to that self-awareness factor, then they're not going to really be able to rise above all the stuff that they've gone through. Because being raised by people other than your parent, not that my grandma didn't do a good job. She did an excellent job. But you're also, I feel like you're exposed to a lot of things.
Yeah, we have a certain type of parent, yeah.
Yeah, where you wouldn't normally, with me being a mom now, I definitely, there are certain things that I was exposed to that I was just like.
What they do? They sell drugs? You can tell me.
No, I'm not even kidding. That I wouldn't, I'll just always be like, if it was with drugs, then I mean, it's Jamaica, but
right, that's what I'm asking.
It wasn't even that. I honestly, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I got a beating so bad when I was 8 years old trying to make a cigarette out of sponge and paper.
Yeah.
Like, smoking was not on my radar. Doing drugs was not on my radar at all, and has not been since.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying, when it comes to just having someone who's older raise you where they just think that most people are trustworthy or you can trust them when really you can't.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
But so when we talk about just meeting people where they're at and just not having any expectations in general, it might be somebody you work with and you're like, well, they're educated. They need to know X, Y, Z, and I would do it like this. Yeah. The moment you are not having these expectations, life becomes so much easier.
For sure.
It's a lot easier. So, yeah.
So what with your grandmother? What was it? What was that situation where she was too trustworthy with someone?
I don't think it's for me to talk about.
I get it.
But we grew up in the church.
Yeah.
And those people that are frequently on the rostrum, we call it rostrum, or on the stage, just always think that they are more, I guess, holier.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know the word to use, but you think they're they can be trusted because they're preaching and they're,
like
they have a
wolf
family.
in sheep's clothing.
Right.
Yeah, I get you.
That's the word. So wolf in sheep clothing. And it did a lot of damage to individuals in my family. And it's not necessarily, I would say it was church hurt too, because then it's like there's no accountability. So this person will go on and cause that infarction on other people because there was nobody saying what you did was wrong. Or, I mean, my grandma did. Once she found out, it was just like, oh, no.
Yeah.
But the damage was already done. Yeah. So.
But stuff like that, how does that, do you begin to have a distrust in people? Because, you look at the situation, right, as somebody who's supposedly good, right? I put that in air quotes. Somebody who's supposedly good making this very bad decision. You have a built-in guard. Yeah.
And which I now realize that can be exhausting because now 100%. You just don't trust everyone, which is why with this relationship that I had, I was just like, okay, slow down. Yeah. Let's take it, slow because I just don't want to put all my trust in this person and then he turns out to not be someone that I could trust. Yeah. And so in all the settings, you have like an internal guard. Mm-hmm. Like I recognize it later. Yeah. But I don't recognize it at first, but it's there.
You think you're too trusting up front?
No, I'm not very trusting up front, like right away. No, I'm not.
Yeah. But you're not automatically like dismissive of someone though.
I'm not. Yeah. So I won't dismiss them, but at the same time, I'm like watching them from the corner of my eye.
I get it.
But it's like continuous. Yeah. So, and then you feel people out. You're quicker to feel people out first. You want to know, okay, what is their agenda? Like, what is their intentions? Yeah. And sometimes when you say that or you ask more often, they're just like, what you mean? Like, why are you like this? Yeah.
So, especially a dude who wants some ass.
Case in point. Yes.
Come on now. These niggas, hey, what you mean? Well, when they hit you with the what you mean, you know. Right. You know what? I know what you mean. Yeah.
So, I mean, just having all these experiences, though, it's definitely allowed me to have not necessarily. I feel like I do have a continuous guard, but at the same time, I still want to meet people where they're at.
Yeah, rightfully so, though. You should kind of, have a guard. I mean,
like your intuition.
So. Yeah, intuition, rightfully so. I mean, because unfortunately sometimes, or most times I'll say, and maybe that's me being pessimistic, but most times I don't think people come with the best intentions. I don't think so. And you can check me on that if you disagree.
So here is my thesis on what you just said. Okay. People don't have the best intentions. It has a lot to do with how they grow up. Yeah. Childhood, culture. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of things intertwined that allow someone to be who they are, who they become ultimately. And so, all right, I'll touch on a point real quick. Racism. Like, we had a discussion. I remember being at MTSU and we had like a panel and they were talking about racism and stuff like that. And they were just like, these people are racist. Da, da, da. And so I interrupted. I was just like, but what if they are not racist? What if they don't think what they're doing is racism because all their life, culturally, that is what they're around? If they're hearing this every day that black people are XYZ,
the media tells them.
Black people are XYZ.
Sometimes we tell them.
Right? So it's like you have this in your head your whole life. Yeah. Do you really think like when they approach a black person that automatically don't come to the forefront?
100%. Because we do it with them.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So you talk about people having coming to the forefront, they don't have the best intentions, but those intentions that they have normally is a result or it's influenced by how they're brought up or how they grew up or the experiences that they've went through.
Yeah. But
in
can I ask you something though?
Yeah.
Because can we still, I guess when you reach a certain age, can we give them that pass though? When you reach a certain age? The reason, because when you say this, I know I put these two together, right? I was like 25, right? Mm-hmm. And a young lady I was dealing with at the time, she said, you never take me out on dates. You never want to, go out with me, blah, 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 right? And I said, well, I wasn't raised like that. Shit, my mama, I had all these excuses. And she was like, nigga, you're 25. Like, find a fucking restaurant and take me out on a date. So I think that same thing with racist people at times. Because it's like, by now you should know,
Yeah, like what, by now you should have some type of responsibility.
Yeah, understanding the nuance.
Right. And instead of being ignorant continuously.
I get it though. Niggas be niggaing. That's a fact. Yeah. I don't like these motherfuckers sometimes. I'll be honest with you.
I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let me get myself together.
Let me ask you this. How was when you come from Jamaica right into Brooklyn? How long did you stay in Brooklyn?
Oh wow. So I lived in Brooklyn for 8 years.
Oh yeah?
Well, no, because my mom's house is in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. So it's like I would like stay with this friend and that friend, so I would go to Harlem. Yeah. Shout out to Alicia. Like my friend Alicia used to like steal her sister's car and drive to Jersey. Mm-hmm. And she was like, 16, 17.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see what New York had to offer. And being in Brooklyn, like East Flatbush, like in that project, I was just like, this cannot be it.
Yeah.
Like all these, like the rabbit-sized rats, like
crazy,
just always smell bad in our apartment, and like roaches, all that. Like I didn't have roaches in Jamaica. Like we didn't have roaches, like in our house, and rats. People always be like, "Do you live in a hut?" No, we had like a 6-bedroom house, 3-bathroom, washroom, living room, 2 verandas, backyard, fenced, fruit trees. We had a good life.
How would your parents leave that? Drugs had to be drugs.
And my dad was a masonry guy, so he built houses, and everybody knew him. And so, but there's always still better.
Yeah. And
that was the thing. They always wanted to do better.
Yeah.
So leaving from that and coming to Brooklyn, baby.
Shell shock.
Like there was just not only the culture shock, but it was just people dying, like young kids dying in white sheet, like every weekend, to the point where I could tell the difference between the police car, the ambulance, and the fire truck.
Yeah.
And it was more of I heard gunshots. I'm like, okay, let me see how I can get around this so I could get the train. Because I became so numb. Like I think my first year, like I watched this cop shoot a guy, arm's length distance. It's a lot. I'm not even going to get into it, but nothing came of it. And so I got subpoenaed, like the FBI I was threatened, like all the stuff that I went through in that short period of time. It was like, it made me feel like life wasn't, it wasn't important. I'm just going through the motion.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Do you feel like sometimes that you might be cursed?
I do.
Yeah.
I do, because I just feel like all the experiences that I have had, while in between the midst of everything, there are always positive stuff that goes on. I'm just like, I just want the happiness long enough to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like long enough to be like, oh. Or maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Maybe the stuff that's happening to me, I should count it as being blessed to have things happen to me so that I can actually really appreciate life.
Yeah, I don't want that. I just want to appreciate it.
So
I just want to appreciate it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, looking at my experience growing up, I would not take that back.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I ended up like I remember just being able to hop on a train, go to Central Park, go for a run, stop right here, get me a slice.
In New York?
No, because everybody knows that people who come from Jamaica love run.
Yeah.
We just be running. People be like, someone shooting at you while you love running? No, we from where, like, as soon as we can walk, you having a race. There's a race of the babies, and then as you get older, you're always running. Yep. And so running was my outlet. When I started, I was going to Medgar Evers College. I came up as an international student. And so shout out to Medgar Evers College, CUNY. I would do basketball and do my basketball training and then go train out with the track team.
I knew you hoop. I knew it.
I still got it, but so...
You challenging me?
Oh, I could take you.
I don't think so.
I could take you. I could take you. But it was just such a pleasure to be in that environment. It was just so colorful.
Yeah.
The people, the fashion, and then also worked at Madison Square Garden at the food court. I met Matumbo. Of course, rest in peace to Matumbo. But I remember being like, can you sign? He was like so tall. I was just like, can you sign my autograph? And I had my little napkin. I think I still have it. And just all the people, you'd see like a lot. I ran into Will Smith and Jada, and I ran into like a lot of rappers. I can't even, like on the train, just doing their day-to-day life. Yeah. And they were just living. So like, there's no place, I don't think if you've lived in New York, worked and lived in New York City, anyone will tell you there's just nowhere like it. Yeah. There's nowhere like it in the world. And it never sleeps. So at 2 a.m., you feel in some type of way. You could be like, all right, let me get this Metro card, hop on this train, and get off at a stop, see what's up. Yeah. So it's like always like an adventure. So those 8 years were great. And that's, I think, at that point, that's when I met my husband. I met my ex-husband, or my husband. We're not married anymore, but I met him in college.
Ex or current?
He's ex. Yeah. We're not married, we're divorced.
You said husband at first.
Right. Might be something I'm just saying that's where I had met my ex-husband. But and when I look at his life and how things have turned out, there's definitely a connection to having when people set certain expectations. Yeah. So like I'll have this expectation of what a husband should be, or what I think a husband should operate like, right? Based on movies. We're basing this off movies. Yeah. And so when I think about that, I realize we already started out on the wrong foot. Yeah. Because we're watching media and we're watching TV and we're watching things because we never grew up with a dad. Yeah. He didn't grow up with a dad. I didn't grow up with a dad.
I was just about to say, we didn't have any example.
He grew up with a single mom. I grew up with my grandmother, and we come in our relationship with all this baggage, and we're trying to be on one accord when we have so much imbalance coming in. And I'll say it's definitely, I think it definitely influences the outcome. Yeah. No matter how much you want it to work, no matter how much you love that person. Yeah. And in the Bible, like I love God. Like my faith is everything. My faith is everything. And so it's like you get to this point where you're just like, sometimes love isn't enough. Yeah. Yep. Sometimes love isn't enough. And in that marriage, I endured like mental, emotional, physical abuse. And it was just at the point where maybe if I didn't have kids and it was just me, maybe I would have stayed. I don't know why as Black women we do that. Yeah. Because we want to hold it all together because it looks better that way if we hold it together versus walking away and saying, you know what, I choose better for myself. Yeah. But it took my kids, like me just not wanting that type of environment for my kids. I don't want that to be the precept of what they expect 100%. In a man. while I did want them to have a father figure, I just did not want them to see that as the expectation.
Yep.
Like that's the status quo. And so
I commend you for that, by the way. Because a
it
lot of
was
women don't have
hard.
the strength to do that.
It was hard. Like Adrian knows, like I went to MTSU and I remember I didn't go back to school until I dropped out. So short story, when I lived in New York, like what I liked about that was having the opportunity. There's a basketball court everywhere.
Yeah.
So I came up from Jamaica. I didn't play basketball, but I knew about the sport because I would do the books for my high school.
Yeah.
Shout out to Glenmere High School, Color Red. But we had a good basketball team, but we played netball. So you can't move with the ball. You can't dribble the ball. You can jump, you catch the ball, you pivot. You can take up to 2 steps. And then there's just a rim. There's no backboard. So you really have to have that flick of the wrist aim. And so I had that. And once I picked up basketball, I'm like, okay, I could dribble. Yeah. Now I got a backboard. So it was easy for me. So I got into going to camps and stuff like that. And I got scouted. And I was going to a Division III school, which wasn't paying for anything for me. Yeah. And this particular school was Division I. Oh, and I think about my life and how it would be if my mom was more, again, it comes back to the parenting. I'm having this expectation of my mom, like, oh, you're going to hold me down because you're going to advocate for me because this particular person is not trying to get me my stats so I could submit it to this school so I could transfer, get my I-20 signed and stuff. And my mom says, oh, don't worry about that, man. Pick up your book. Yeah. Worry about basketball. And because she couldn't see that, that was bigger than education. Like, education is the key to success, but there are other ways to get all the things. Yeah. And sports is one of them. And so I eventually dropped out of college because this particular coach blocked my transfer to a Division I school that would have afforded me a better education, just better all-around college experience. So moving here to Tennessee, which was, I won't even get into that, but it was a lot. We just like got up. My ex-husband at the time, he just like got up. He's like, God told him to move. And I had just gotten into nursing school and we just got up and moved here. Yeah. And my sister was like, MTSU have a really good program. You know, you should check them out. So I was just like, okay, well, if I'm a go, then what I need to do is probably see if I could try out for their basketball team. Yeah. I worked out that summer. Let me tell you. Yeah. I worked out that summer. Like, I was running 8 miles every day. Like, I was doing weights. Like, I was ready. And then it didn't work out. Yeah. Because I found out I was pregnant. So that didn't happen. So here I am. I'm like first semester of school, and I'm just like, I felt like my dreams are dashed because now I'm pregnant with my third daughter, and I didn't have any help from my husband at the time. Yeah. He wasn't working. God told him not to work. I won't get into that. That's what he said.
Legend.
And anyone who says that, that's a Christian. The word worked is mentioned 365 days. Yeah. In 365 times. Enough time for each day of the year. Yeah. So basically, people who like to be, God told me not to work. I'm in a season of rest. Don't get me started. But he wasn't as helpful as for my journey at MTSU. Like, I went on to get my degree in food science and to be a registered dietitian. And as a friend, Adrian, knows, we had to get straight A's. Yeah. And I remember thinking, I want to get into this program. Like, in the medical school, like in the med school pre-med program, you can get like C's and D's for your sciences. Like, I had to get straight A's, like A's and B's. But I get done with my degree, like graduated, like with a lot of honors and stuff. And I'm like, surely he's going to get a job so I could do my credentialing and I could do my internship.
Nope.
No.
God was still telling him no.
No.
You gotta listen to God.
Right? And this is like, what, 5 years later?
Hey, sometimes God take
Right?
his time though.
So it was like, no. So now I'm done. COVID starts in 2020's COVID starts. And I'm thinking, well, I got to figure out something else.
Yeah.
I got to figure out something else. And leading up to that, like I would keep on doing like my half marathons and stuff like that just to keep me active. I end up hurting my knee at work. Like I tore my meniscus.
Oh wow.
At work, like not working out, not running, not lifting weights, but at work, picking up like a light crate of glass.
Yeah.
But because it was COVID, everybody was calling out, I just kept on picking up shifts just to like help out in the kitchen. But it was just one thing after the next. So not being able to graduate, not being able to do my internship, not being able to go get the job that I worked so hard for.
Yeah.
You know? And it comes back to me telling you, because I was looking so far ahead, like I really didn't take the time to sit with myself and take it moment to moment and be like, okay, Jewel, you have done everything that you could possibly do, right? And everything in your power that you could possibly do. Just leave the rest.
Yeah.
And it has just been a lot.
Yeah.
Because looking back, I felt like maybe if I just took the time, if I had taken the time to just be more graceful to myself, I feel like the outcome could have been different. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, but at least you know to do it now, because a lot of people live the rest of their lives not knowing, you know.
Not knowing.
Yeah.
So pushing forward, I end up leaving MTSU, graduating, like I said, and having to not work in the kitchen, which I actually was in the kitchen working as a cook. I love to cook. I feel like that's my ultimate calling.
Yeah.
To have my own restaurant one day and, you know, food done by Chef Jewel.
Yeah.
Shout out Jewel's Jamaican Cuisine.
Love it.
But
what was the point where you knew that you needed to leave your husband?
So this was 2021, October 22nd, 2021. I had just gotten off the phone with my mom, and mothers who pray, like, there's something about mothers that stay in prayer for their children. Yeah. And she had stayed on the phone just praying with me, just like giving me godly counsel, because leading up to that point, I had from the knee surgery, after I had the knee surgery, end up having like gallbladder issues. I had to have emergency gallbladder removal. And after that, I just developed like a host of like fibroids. Yeah. And I had to have surgery to remove that. So it's like back-to-back surgeries. And even in the hospital, like when I was supposed to be picked up after my gallbladder surgery, like there was nobody to pick me up. Wow. Like they didn't know where my ex-husband was at the time. And my mom was just like, this is not good. Yeah. This is not good. My kids were at the hospital with me, so that was fine. He had dropped them off and they were there, so it was safe. They were, safe. But the moment I knew, my mom had gotten off the phone with me, and it was like, I don't know how to word it. It was abuse, like physical abuse. And this was like maybe the second or third time. Yeah. And I went to work after. Like I made sure my kids were straight. Like I made sure they went to school. And I went to work. Yeah. And I was just scared to come back home, because I was scared that something else would happen. Yeah. And it's like the kind of scared is not like, it's not like Halloween scared. It's like you're scared for your life type of scared. And you're scared about what if something tells him to do something to your kids.
Yeah.
Because now I don't even see it as our kids. You know, like I'm always thinking my kids, my kids. And I remember calling a friend and I'm like, I need to do this. I need you to come and pick my kids up because I'm going to have to call the police. And I remember saying, just make sure you're here at this time.
Yeah.
And I remember calling the police and just saying, listen, I don't need any sirens. I don't want you parking in front of my apartment. I don't want you, like, just park far away and walk to my apartment. This is my apartment, you know. But the police were so close because we lived in the hood. They were there before my friend got there. Yeah. So my kids answered the door and the police were at the door. And then she showed up, like, right behind them and took my kids. And the crazy part is they ask him for a statement. He writes down everything that he did. And they asked me for my statement. I wrote down everything and our statements match. And the police comes back and he goes, you're in a very bad situation. For him to write this because he thinks that this is okay. You're in a very bad situation. And so they take him away, and I remember just feeling like I was hovering and just watching the whole thing. Because at that point, we had been married for like 14 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had been married for 14 years. And I was just like, what is happening? Yeah. So it's like I felt like I was standing outside myself just looking at everything happening. But I'll say this, if there's any woman like watching or listening, if you're in an abusive situation and you feel like your life is threatened, the moment you feel like your life is threatened is the moment you know it's time to go. Yeah. Like it's not going to get better. Yeah. It's not going to change. Because it had happened before, and it had happened before, and it happened before. Yeah. And I was just like, maybe I could pray. Maybe I could fast. Maybe I needed to go to church more. But if that person doesn't even realize that what they're doing is abuse, then, you know, there's no middle ground. There's no safety measure there. Yeah. But that was it, October 21st. That was a Thursday, and I was just like, I think it's done. Yeah,
yeah. I'm glad you got out of that.
I'm glad I got out of it.
Yeah, I'm glad you were brave enough to get out of it.
I got out of it, and I look at my kids now, and while it's hard, my kids play sports. It's very hard. It's very hard. Yeah. It's very hard. But the drive I have is because I did not have that person standing up for me when I needed that support. Yeah. So it's like I'm being, for my kids, what I needed. Yeah. And I've seen my kids just evolve into, like sometimes I'm so tired, but I'm so grateful. I'm like, I can't believe I'm their mom. I can't believe like I got this opportunity. Yeah. And so we go back to talking about all the trials we've been through and all the things that's happened in our life. But is it really a curse or is it really a blessing? Because now when you have the good things that happen, you're more thankful for it. Yeah. You're more like, wow. Yeah. You know, even if there's something around the corner that's about to happen, in this moment, like that gratitude is there. Yeah. So, yeah.
I can see that. I mean, all the things that happened to you allowed you to be the person that you are for your children. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I don't think, looking at my life, I feel like if I was to change something, like everything, I feel like everything has brought me to this point. Sitting here talking to you about my life. Yeah. Everything has brought me here. So it's like, whether it was the recent death of this person that I really loved and cared about, or whether it was my marriage that was just didn't have a good foundation to begin with, or whether it was my childhood where I was left by myself to take care of another child. I feel like I'm still grateful.
Yeah.
I know I'm grateful, and God knows that I'm grateful because it's gotten me to where I am.
Yeah.
And I've found so many kids that could relate to my childhood, even though they're here in the States, they're here in Murfreesboro. But I can speak to their life, or I can speak to their situation because I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been homeless. I've had to sleep on someone's floor. I had to sleep on someone's couch. I've been hungry. When I say hungry, I mean like not eating for like a week hungry, not intentional, you know? It's not like I'm on a fast, but there's just no food, you know? Or having your lights cut off. You know, like all the things that people go through that they're just like, they think their life is over because they're experiencing all these things.
And you can help guide them through that.
And I can help be a voice to say, listen, this too shall pass. Like, this is just like a fragment of your whole life. Like, you have this entire movie of your life going on, and this is like just a snippet.
Yeah.
You know? And it does show, like, a lot of kids have said to me, Miss Wallace, you know, like, I just love you because you're able to just be yourself and be honest with us. Like, there are a lot of people who will be around students and they want to make it seem like it's very cookie cutter. Definitely, at my alternative school, there's nothing cookie cutter. The amount of things I've seen this past week.
It's crazy.
Crazy is not, we need another word.
Yeah.
There needs to be another word. It's been a lot. But I just want to be able to be just a glimmer of hope. Just something that, okay, she went through this, Ms. Wallace went through this, or Ms. Jules went through this, and she's here.
Yeah.
She's here, and she's a mom, and she's raising her kids. And it's not easy. But I'm grateful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad all these things happen to lead you to sit right here and talk to me.
Yeah.
So, and I think that regardless of the stuff that you've been through, you know, I take that back about the curse and all of that. I don't want to claim that for your life. Yeah, I take it back. I don't want to claim it for your life.
I don't.
I think you may be. I think you're blessed. You know, I think you should just keep going and keep trying for it. Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. You did great. I know sometimes, you know, sitting beside me, it can throw a lot of people off.
Here we go.
I just the aura, just so awesome, you know. But you did great.
Well, thank you.
But keep pushing though. And listen, anytime you want to come back on the show and just sit down and talk or whatever, you know, you can.
Yeah, for sure. I'll come back and talk about my business when it gets off the ground.
Yeah, I love it. I get the high.
I'm excited, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant your personal business.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, because I get the high. I don't have to tell my business. You know, I get to hide behind other people's business. Yeah. But yeah, when you start your business though. Yeah, when you start your business.
I already have this catering business, under Jules Jamaican Cuisine. And I haven't been like consistent because again, my kids, they take up a majority of my time. But the hope is for me to like have a food truck and just be able to go to different events and share like my Jamaican culture through food and with a little bit of Southern flair. Yeah,
it's Jamaican too. People love Jamaica.
Yeah, and you know, you can't go to Jamaica. Guess what? I can bring the food to you.
Yeah.
You know, give you a whole Jamaican vibe. You just sit here and eat some food. You be like, oh, I feel like I'm in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah.
Well, let me know. I'll be the first one in line.
For sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Bring all my fat friends like Roscoe.
The big bags.
Yeah.
Big bags, yes.
Fat.
Big bags.
I'm gonna say fat. Yeah, these niggas fat. These niggas is large, okay? They are humongous, some of them. But yeah, thank you for coming on the show again, Jewel.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Like I said, you can come back anytime, especially when you start the business. Anything I need to do, whatever I need to post, wherever I need to come, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
Give me your the exclusive.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. Listen, this is the ChoppedByT podcast. We'll get real, raw, authentic conversations. Until next time.